aperçu du marché du transport maritime vrac pour 2024 constituera l'entame des conférences. Monsieur Stephen Aitchison, merci d'être avec nous, d'être présent. Évaluateur senior du marché du fret au Baltic Exchange, vous dirigez une équipe d'experts dans la production et la validation des indices pour le secteur maritime mondial. Fort de votre expérience que vous avez su mettre à profit pour développer une compréhension approfondie des dynamiques de marché, des tendances et des défis du secteur du fret, vous êtes également responsable du projet sur les émissions de carbone du Baltique et de l'indicateur opérationnel d'efficacité énergétique, ainsi que de l'évaluation de l'impact des réglementations du système d'échange de quotas d'émissions. Les intervenants d'aujourd'hui ont des présentations longues comme le bras, donc j'ai tenté de raccourcir un maximum. Je vous en prie, Monsieur Stephen Aitchison, pour votre conférence. You're welcome, come on.
A presentation?
No.
I get the slides? Yes, the slides. Are they up?
Yeah.
There we go. Yes. You have a clicker? Okay, thank you. It should be okay. That's all right. Good morning, everyone. Unfortunately, my French is terrible, so I'm going to be speaking in English today. My name is Stephen Aitchison. I'm the Senior Freight Assessor from the Baltic Exchange in London. It's a pleasure to be here in Algiers today, addressing the International Maritime Economy Conference. It is my first time in Algiers, and it's great to feel so welcome here. Today I'll be discussing the global role of the Baltic Exchange, the indices we publish, and specific insights relevant to Algeria's maritime community. The Baltic Exchange is a vital player in the maritime sector, offering services across the community. Our presence spans 60 countries and 6 major cities worldwide. Since we started publishing indices 39 years ago, we've expanded our reach significantly, now supporting members through various services like debt collection, escrow, and emissions tools. This diversity enables us to serve our members in today's dynamic maritime industry. Many companies and individuals join the Baltic to gain access to our data and market information. Our indices help the global maritime market grow. Transparency and availability of pricing data drives trading activities. It allows floating rate contracts and indexation to exist. It is a reference for further price discovery, and it allows risk to be managed. Our indices are a cornerstone of maritime economics. Starting with the Baltic Freight Index in 1985, we've introduced key indices like Handysize, Capesize, and Panamax. The first tanker assessments were in 1998. In 2001, we added the dirty and clean tanker assessments, ensuring comprehensive coverage across freight and vessel classes, as well as new building, second-hand, and recycling. Our members benefit from a range of essential services, from escrow to KYC platforms, emissions tools, and debt collection. Our members, the Baltic Academy, and various networking events further enable professional development and connections within our community. Our membership base is as diverse as the market sectors we operate in, covering tankers, gas, containers, dry, and air cargo. With 70% active in the shipping and maritime market, our membership drives value in areas ranging from ship sale and purchase to recycling and operating costs analysis. Our expertise across sectors supports robust decision-making for all members, including legal and insurance sectors. Why do we say we know freight? The Baltic Exchange provides real-time and reliable pricing indices for the market, covering various vessel types and routes. Over 200 indices are produced. Our indices are widely used in these markets, not only for benchmarking and index linking of physical contracts, but also to hedge freight risk. We produce the forward curves for all listed routes. The Baltic Exchange supports and enables a multi-billion-dollar industry, which I understand last year was about $90 billion in derivatives. Why do we say we know ships? We offer indices like the Baltic Dirty Tanker Index and the Baltic Dry Index, which are regularly referenced in international press. These cover multiple routes and types, such as Capesize, Suezmax, and Aframax. And these assessments provide a vital insight into the market's supply and demand trends and are integral to our clients managing their risk. And finally, how do we know we support the futures markets? Each day, we publish forward assessments, trade volumes, and open interest. Our tanker and LPG indices are listed on clearing exchanges ICE and CME, while CME and SGX list the Baltic LNG products. As mentioned earlier, the Baltic has been producing indices for 40 years next year. We'll focus today on the tanker and gas indices, and more specifically, routes that are linked to Algeria. Our indices are the gold standard in the maritime sector, providing accurate and timely data across various shipping segments. Each index is assessed by qualified panelists to ensure it reflects true market conditions, with assessments carried out by international shipbrokers who operate independently with no involvement from principals such as owners or charterers. This impartiality reinforces the reliability of our indices. Baltic assessors, who are based in London and Singapore, ensure that accurate indices are published daily and are assessed on a next done basis. Individual routes contribute to headline indices or time charter averages, which are key indicators for the market's health and direction. Alongside these headline indices, we publish time charter equivalents expressed in dollars per day. These provide a practical benchmark for users managing longer-term deals, often using these indices for index-linked contracts spanning multiple years. Our indices are also fundamental for the forward freight agreements, the FFAs, as they settle FFA contracts based on the monthly average. The tanker indices are assessed from London and Singapore, with panelists based globally in Singapore, Dubai, Geneva, London, New York, and Houston. They are split into dirty or crude tankers and clean tankers. The wide range of assessments allows us to offer stakeholders the precise data needed for evaluating tanker markets and managing freight exposure accurately across multiple routes. There are 17 dirty tanker routes, including 4 VLCCs, the largest vessel class, such as the Middle East to China route, 4 Suezmax routes, such as the Black Sea to Mediterranean, and 7 Aframax routes, such as those from Kuwait to Singapore. In addition to the dirty routes, there are 19 clean tanker routes, 3 LR2 routes from the Middle East to Japan, 3 LR1 routes, such as the AG to Northwest Europe, and 11 MR tankers, such as the continent to US Gulf. Our Algeria-specific indices include the TC6 and TC15 routes, key for tracking exports from Skikter to destinations in the Mediterranean and the Far East. TC6 covers the Skikter to Lavera route for CPP cargoes to Europe on handy tankers, and TC15, the Skikter to Chiba route for naphtha cargoes to the Far East on LR2s. These assessments provide transparency in rates specific to Algeria. In the last 4 years, Algeria has exported some 1.51 billion barrels, which is just over 1 million barrels a day, or 6,700 cargoes our data has tracked. Last year, it was about 180 million barrels of crude, and a similar number for clean products, with 26 million barrels of dirty petroleum products. Just over 60% of the exports from Algeria go to Europe, with 40% going into the Mediterranean and 22% going to Northwest Europe. A further 24% goes to Asia. Looking further at the Algerian exports, 45% is carried on Aframax and LR2 tankers. These are vessels of sort of 100 to 120,000 tons. 19% is on Suezmax tankers of about 150,000 tons, and 7% on MRs. There's also gas exports on MGC and VLGC vessels. On the VLGC, the Baltic supports the gas sector with LNG and LPG assessments. There are 3 routes on each. These indices help operators track the specialised and high-demand segments within gas transportation and manage their exposure. In addition to the spot indices, the Baltic produces period assessments for various tanker sizes. Our long-term assessments, like the 5-year time charter rates for VLCC, Suezmax and Aframax, give clients insight into future asset pricing. This data helps operators plan and make informed decisions around long-term vessel investment in a volatile market. As part of the asset suite of indices, we recently started publishing a 10-year-old sale and purchase assessment for tankers and dry vessels. This is in addition to the existing 5-year-old assessments. And this completes the life cycle of a ship from new building to recycling that the Baltic covers. The Baltic introduced investor indices to the dry market in 2022 and for the tankers in 2023. The headline indices include health of earnings, residual value, and residual risk. These are calculated using the relevant underlying Baltic data for each sector and incorporates the physical assessments, asset assessments, and futures. It is a very useful tool and is a daily snapshot for the wider maritime community to use. What is a forward freight agreement, or FFA? These FFAs allow market participants to secure future freight rates. Settled against Baltic indices, FFAs are traded over the counter and on screen and help manage exposure in freight pricing. Ooh. Right, okay. Our live FFA data, which is available on the website and mobile, includes high-low trade data and volumes for each session. The daily PDF summarises all activity, allowing stakeholders to assess trends and average prices across the trading day. This service helps members stay on top of FFA trends, aiding in effective risk management. As has been touched already on in the introductions, emissions is becoming a major issue in shipping. As standards become increasingly stringent, the Baltic Exchange helps members stay compliant by providing up-to-date emissions indices and data. Most recently, we've introduced the weekly carbon index. This can be used for ETS calculations on Baltic routes into Europe, including the TC6 route from Algeria. The EUA Carbon Index reflects OTC contracts, ensuring that members can accurately assess and incorporate emissions costs. The legislation is already impacting shipping and will only grow, and the Baltic provides calculators that the market can use to assess the costs and impact on freight rates. From Fuel EU, CII to vessel design rules, the Baltic indices are adapting to help users manage their emissions exposure. Similarly, our bi-weekly bunker report provides comprehensive cost data from trusted panelists assisting operators in budgeting for fuel expenses. These are currently published on a Tuesday and Thursday. Next year, we'll be moving to daily assessments. You may have seen it in the paper that the Baltic has launched a KYC platform, and due diligence is becoming an increasingly important part of aspect of all players in the shipping industry. We've got to look to ensure that everyone is aware of the operational risks to their core business and drive compliance standards and practices. Our KYC platform is an essential service for members, enabling compliance with anti-money laundering laws and sanctions. This tool not only ensures compliance with global regulations, but also helps protect our members' reputations. By reducing fraud and ensuring counterparties are legitimate, the Baltic Exchange supports safe and compliant business operations for all. It is a simple tool that can be used for all members to support their day-to-day activities in a new regulatory environment. Thank you for your time this morning. We've got time for a few questions.
Yes, if you agree, we'll take one or two questions.
Please, please.
On va pouvoir prendre une ou deux questions si vous avez des questions à poser. One or... Oui, oui. Je vais vous passer le micro, s'il vous plaît.
Morning.
Yes. Pardonnez-moi.
Good morning, sir. Thank you for being here in Algeria. I'm Asia Boudaba, P&I correspondent. I thank you for the presentation about the company and everything it is being done to help the operators, members, to have a wider picture of the shipping industry and to be aware about the risks in general. And I do believe that you are doing a great job in helping these people to have such picture. My question is the following. In terms, as we work in the P&I industry, we have a lot of challenges, as you may believe or expect. My question is, does your company provide, it certainly does, but can the company provide anything in terms of helping to minimize the risks of claims or incidents? We P&I correspondents or P&I clubs are dealing with. Okay.
In some respects, yes, the Baltic can. Because if you're a member, you have been voted in by the other members, you have been vetted by the membership committee, and there is a claims process. So one member or can make a claim against another, and the Baltic can try and get the money back for you. Additionally, it can stop people from being members if they consistently poorly perform or they breach sanctions. This is the importance of knowing your customer, and our platform does this now with a lot of data available to it. It's quite a useful tool so that people can trust who they're working with.
Thank you, monsieur. Thank you.
Thank you. S'il vous plaît. Oui.
Good morning, everyone. Samir Gulmes from National School of Marine Science and Coastal Management. My question is regarding the emissions. Which kind of measures do you consider in your approach in order to adapt the maritime transport with the new requirements of CO2 emissions from the maritime transport? Thank you.
The Baltic has standard vessels across all of its sizes, from VLCC to MR on the tankers, and Cape size to handy size on the dry, for example. All of these, we say, have to be compliant with maritime regulations, and these are adapting. So a few years ago, we had EEOI, the energy efficiency. We made sure that our vessels were adapted in terms of their top speed so that they conformed to these regulations. 2 years ago, CII, the carbon intensity indicator, came in, and we have provided a tool to ensure that the vessels stay compliant. But ultimately, that is down to how they are operated individually. The next rules are Fuel EU. We are looking at the impact, and we will be publishing a paper later this month on the impact to the Baltic ships and the Baltic routes. The regulations are evolving, and we are trying to keep up.
Merci beaucoup. Merci. Thank you very much. Une ou deux questions. Évidemment, à la fin du premier panel, nous allons prendre diverses questions, si vous le voulez bien. Mr. Aitchison, thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.